In the pulsating heart of NBA Draft Night chaos, where dreams ignite and destinies are forged in the shadows of the clock's relentless tick, the Golden State Warriors find themselves teetering on the edge of a pivotal moment that could reshape their future in ways fans can only begin to imagine. Picture this: the 2025 NBA Draft, a swirling tempest of deals and surprises, has already delivered a volley of shocking picks and seismic trades during the first round. And as Thursday's second round tips off, the atmosphere is electrica. Thick fog of anticipation hanging over the league, suffused with the tantalizing scent of potential dynasties in the making or franchises on the verge of redemption through a single fateful move. The stage is set not merely for selection, but for strategy and subterfuge, where front offices must weigh hope against pragmatism, dreams versus dollar signs, and the Warriors battling the twin demands of championship. Contention and roster rejuvenation are right at the heart of the action. Their sole draft pick at No. 41 suddenly thrust into a spotlight far brighter than anyone expected. As the Lakers kick off the day by maneuvering up 10 spots from No. 55 to No. 45 through a deft trade with the Chicago Bulls, the radar blares. With signals as we learn Chicago has thrown open the gates on pick No. 45, boldly inviting offers from hopeful contenders, and guess who's knocking? That's right, Golden State. A franchise juggling the urgency of their championship window with the reality of limited draft capital has joined the fray with eyes sharp and wallets ready. Scouts and analysts alike are abuzz over every whisper. From Chase Center, will they package their pick to acquire veteran role players, or will they roll the dice on raw potential, betting that one of the hidden gems still on the board will blossom into a perennial contributor? Meanwhile, the faint murmur of social media explodes into a roar as Warriors trade trends globally, spawning thousands of speculative threads, debating whether this lone selection could be leveraged into a second-round flurry of deals or held hostage as the bargaining chip to pry open another team's vault of future picks. But here's where the tension tightens. Just beyond the draft podium, the silhouette of Rocco Zikarsky looms large. The 7'3" Australian sharpshooter, whose silky three-point stroke and unorthodox combination of size and agility stunned scouts at the combine, stands ready as a tantalizing prospect for Golden State's small ball splash era blueprint. Imagine Zikarsky stepping onto the floor in Warriors garb, stretching defenses with effortless catch-and-shoot triples, a floor-spacing colossus whose arrival would force every opponent to rethink interior rotations. Yet the front office's internal calculus is no simple equation. Do they gamble on his upside at pick 41, or hedge their bet by trading down, banking on a late first-round flyer or future second-round assets that might yield more immediate depth? Meanwhile, behind the scenes, whispers swirl around the possibility of a surprise midnight pre-draft swap. Sources hint that Charlotte, teetering on the brink of impatience, might pounce at the right offer surfaces, perhaps a future protected first-rounder or the rights to a promising two-way contract player. Toronto and Oklahoma City, too, lurk in the shadows, each weighing the value of adding another veteran presence versus the tantalizing allure of final draft capital. In this cutthroat marketplace, the Warriors' single pick becomes a fulcrum, around which entire rebuilds could pivot, and every phone ring sends a pulse through the front office war room. Echoes of past draft day masterstrokes reverberate through Warriors lore. Who could forget the boldness of the 2012 selection that unearthed a franchise cornerstone, or the audacious gamble that netted them a future all-star from a lower lotto slot? History teaches us that a single prescient choice can ignite a championship run or forestall a slump for years. Yet this year's draft carries an extra layer of drama, framed by the twilight of career-defining veteran Steph Curry, still raining daggers from NBA range. Draymond Green, the defensive engine and emotional core. And Klay Thompson, whose return from injury added a new chapter to the dynasty's resilience. Management must decide. Do they draft a young shooter to complement the Big Three's twilight years, or do they trade for a gritty wing or backup point guard who can keep the machine humming when age and injuries inevitably intervene? As the clock winds down and pick no 41 approaches the podium, every second stretches like taffy, each moment charged with the weight of fan expectations and decades of championship pedigree. The collective breath of Dub Nation seems to suspend. In the air, will the Warriors strike gold once more, or will they play it safe, seeding the pick for cap space or future considerations? Whatever unfolds, tonight's decision will ripple across the league, altering trade winds, shifting rivalries, and charting a course for Golden State's next chapter. So stay locked in, Warriors faithful, because when that name finally echoes through the arena, whether a rookie with superstar potential or the name of a seasoned veteran coming in from elsewhere, it won't just signify a pick in the draft. It will signal the start of a new era, a fresh page in the annals of a franchise that has never feared bold moves. Don't blink, you won't want to miss the moment when the future truly begins anew. Could you feel the tension crackling through the broadcast booth as Golden State's brass huddles over the play sheet, weighing the merits of immediate roster impact against long-term upside? Visualize a boardroom alive with debates analytics, gurus armed with shot charts and player efficiency ratings, clashing with talent scouts who swear by raw athleticism and intangibles. Every scenario is laid bare, pairing a sharpshooting stretch four with Curry's gravity or slotting in a lockdown defender to give Kerr new schematic wrinkles. And beyond the hardwood, consider the ripple effect on team chemistry, how a smooth transition rookie could thrive under Steph's mentorship, or how a seasoned vet could inject grit and wisdom into the young core. The choice isn't just about filling a slot. It's about sculpting the identity of the next Warriors era, a delicate fusion of fidelity to a championship blueprint and a fresh spark of innovation. But let's not forget the unseen players. In this drama, the undrafted talents pacing the green room, hearts pounding as they await a call that could rewrite their destinies. If Golden State opts to trade the pick, those overlooked prospects suddenly become lottery tickets in free agency, tiny chances for overlooked stars to slip through the net. Imagine a sleeper guard with killer handles and a chip on his shoulder, earning a two-way contract, or a European forward hungry to prove himself sliding onto the roster with nothing to lose. In this league, legends aren't always born from the lottery. Sometimes they emerge from shadows, fueled by rejection and determined to defy expectations. Whatever path the Warriors choose tonight, remember, the margins between good and great are razor-thin. And in this draft's crucible, even the smallest decision can blaze a trail toward immortality. If the thought of a Warriors roster shakeup right before another title run keeps your blood boiling and your heart pounding, then shout it out below, because what's about to unfold next is nothing short of basketball warfare at its finest. The clock's still slicing through the second round like a razor, and the Warriors, they're playing chess while the rest of the league spins checkers, making moves unseen, whispered deals that could either ignite a fresh dynasty or unravel the delicate balance of the squad we've screened for since we believe rewrote our lives. Think about it, Steph Curry, still slicing through defenses like a golden side at 36, dropping 27 points with that trademark snaking dribble and laser-sharp three-point barrage. But is this the year where he's surrounded by the youth that finally matches his own unyielding hunger? Imagine Andrew Wiggins suddenly evolving beyond his reputation, turning his 17.3 points and lockdown versatility into a consistent two-way nightmare that locks down perimeter threats in a loaded Western Conference that's tightening like a vice. Draymond Green, that fiery soul whose voice in the locker room has been equal parts catalyst and battering ram, is nearing the twilight of his prime. But what if this draft, this whispered trade rumor, brings in a piece who, while unpolished, holds the key to reigniting Draymond's ferocious defensive vigor and playmaking? When you layer in the hungry shadows of Kuminga and Moody, two raw but electrifying talents still proving their worth against giants like Doncic, Murray, and Ayton, the plotting becomes a twisted game of fate and timing. The Warriors stand at an intersection where a move here, a pick there, could morph from a mere roster tweak into a seismic shift in West Coast power dynamics. The Suns are assaulting with Booker's scorched earth offense. The Nuggets tighten with Jokic dancing over defenses. The Lakers still haunting with their twin towers yet fading under age and inconsistency. While OKC and Dallas buzz with burgeoning. Young stars eager to dethrone the Crown Kings. What if Golden State's reported flirtation with the 45th pick from Chicago isn't a simple reach for raw talent, but instead a calculated bet on transformation? A bet that says, we don't just want to survive these shifting eras. We want to dominate them. There's talk swirling that a stealth deal could bring a veteran presence back to the Bay of swingmen who gels instantly, who understands Kerr's system like an extended family member. But could adding such a piece risk fracturing the chemistry? Painstakingly maintained since Curry and Clay's record-breaking pairing first electrified Oracle's crowds? Or could it explode necessary tension that produces one last glorious run at glory? On the flip side, what if the Warriors gamble everything on potential on selecting the Aussie giant, Rocco Zikarsky, that 7-footer with ridiculous deep range and mobility, whose silhouette could redefine spacing in a league drunk on versatility? Could he be the next splash big man capable of stretching defenses into submission, blocking out the ghosts of past rim protectors? What Kerr envisions is more than a lineup. It's a kaleidoscope of skills and sparks, a puzzle of personalities that must either flex and meld or fracture under the relentless pressure of championship expectations. The locker room vibes are an orchestra of tension and hope veterans, visibly weary after 4 straight finals appearances, battling the mental fatigue of exploding media scrutiny and fan impatience, while young stars chomp at the bit, desperate for minutes, hungry for the moment to carry the torch. Whispered inside sources hint at subtle fractures questions about roles, minutes, and the shifting hierarchy in a franchise famous for its unyielding culture and selflessness. Kerr staring down criticism, pressured to recalibrate these egos and styles into a symphony of harmony and violence before the season tip-off, and every move tonight threads into his blueprint. We remember how the We Believe Warriors gouged their way past all expectations with grit and fire, how the KD era changed the game's very DNA, and how Clay's comeback tears reminded us why this team embodies resilience. Now ask yourself, if this moment yields a silent steal or a deafening trade that sends shockwaves through the league, are we witnessing a last stand or a new dawn? Could this be the threshold where the Warriors, fighting against age and time, summon one more renaissance fueled by unshakable belief and shrewd moves? Or are we staring down the crumbling edges of a reign defined by historic brilliance, but inevitably fading light? As someone who has yelled through every heartbreak and victory, who has worn the blue and gold with tears and screams, who still sees the wider arcs of this franchise's legendary story unfolding, I'm telling you, this draft this night, this subtle interplay of choices and gambles is the very precipice of what Golden State's future holds. Whether it's a lightning bolt pick or a shadow trade that changes everything, the echoes of what we do tonight will reverberate for years. Now it's time to lay it all out. What do you see in these moves? What fires your soul or leaves you staring, worried? No edits, no filters, just raw emotion. Drop your truth right here, and I'm living in the comments with you ready to argue, celebrate, and dream as this glorious saga unfolds. Before our eyes, picture the seismic tremors that would ripple through the Bay if the Warriors struck a clandestine deal for a veteran wing like Mikal Bridges, a two-way terror, whose steely defense and unflashy shooting could plug the cracks in our backcourt and give Curry the freedom to orchestrate without shouldering every defensive assignment. Envision Bridges gliding across the floor, in sync with Clay's catch-and-shoot rhythm, the two of them forming a perimeter lock so airtight that opposing guards break sweat at the mere thought of stepping into their crosshairs. And on nights when even Curry's artistry needs a break, bridge the gap with a consistent 18 to 20 points, the kind of reliable production that turns close games into routine wins. But such a move would carve into the salary cap and force tough choices. Do you let go of a rising young piece like Jonathan Kuminga to make room for that immediate upgrade? Or do you unearth another draft day miracle and risk betting on upside rather than proven polish? Alternatively, imagine Carolina's No 45 slipping through all the chatter and landing squarely in Golden State's lap. A quiet coup that blindsides everyone, only for the roster to unveil a raw, athletic wing from Europe who has scouts drooling over defensive instincts and paint-stretching potential. A player with a 7-foot wingspan who can switch across positions, dive for loose balls with reckless abandon, and knock down open threes when defenses collapse on the Splash Brothers. In this scenario, Kerr would have the ultimate chess piece. A developmental project with superstar traits primed to flourish under the Warriors' tutelage, blending seamlessly into the small ball sets and offering the kind of two-way versatility that's become basketball's new currency. The front office would be hailed for identifying a diamond in the rough, and Dub Nation would erupt as the rookie silences critics with his fearless drives and contested blockers. Two starkly different paths, one franchise-defining choice tonight. Golden State writes its next chapter,